Now, here's your Storm Tracker weather forecast with Chief Forecaster Bob McGuire.
Well, yes, indeed. It has been an active night across Montana, but the biggest stuff, the biggest honking, the biggest storms we have, they've all been over in eastern Montana. Take a look at this shot. This comes to us from Jessica Duty. This is a storm as it blew through the Glendive area. You can see just a storm there. It looks like a couple of clouds hanging down. It looked kind of ferocious. Take a look at this shot here. It comes to us from Sandy Dare. Look at the lightning strike there. And look at some of these clouds that are hanging down there. What kind of clouds are those? They're kind of funnel-shaped. Are they tornado? No, they're not. Let me show you a little closer look. You notice how they're kind of raggedy? These are what we call scud clouds. These are what is leftover air that's been sucked up into the center of the storm. If these had been like funnel clouds, they would have been smoother. They would have been, because it would have been like the air had worked like sandpaper against it. So that right there, these are probably not funnel clouds, but probably just scud clouds. And that's what Sandy Dare sent to us. Look at that here in Billings, though. You can see the moon tonight. Currently in Billings, there's a full shot of it. 57 degrees with a west wind at about 15 miles per hour. Really not a bad night for us currently. Our high temp today got up to 72. That's our normal high for this time of year. The record was 91 back in 2009. The record low was 26 back in 1965. And when it comes to precipitation, well, we're at 1900ths of an inch for the day. That's actually not a bad day for rain. Takes us to 128 in the month, so obviously ahead of normal there. For the year, we're at 1520, still ahead of normal for the year as well. Here's what we need to be year to date to be caught up to average right now, and that's at 1075, so obviously we've done that. In the meantime, you can see our current temps around the state. 40s and 50s out in the west, 46 over Kalispell, 48 Cutbank. Back here across the High Line, we're into the 40s and 50s until you get to Glasgow, where we're 64 degrees there. A lot of 60s and 50s back here in the east. But look at our reported highs for the day. These guys were pretty warm today. We actually got into the 80s over at Glendive and Miles City, 83, 86 over Glendive. Williston, North Dakota, they were at 82 today. Back here at Glasgow, 76. Same thing at Jordan. Of course, Billings, we're very comfortable, 72 degrees. I like to call that room temperature. Same thing at Sheridan. Out in the west, they're a little cooler because they had a cold front move through earlier in the day, and they only got up into the 60s. But as you'll see here, right now, our thunderstorm outlook shows just a few isolated thunder showers possible across this thin line here. Most of the marginal risk of severe storms still lingering in eastern Montana as the night goes on. But then for tomorrow, look for some more isolated thunder showers moving into western Montana. That's your next system starting to make its way into the state. But look at eastern Montana. Should be a pretty dry day tomorrow. What we're looking at here, Doppler radar shows you the scattered showers continue to spin their way out of the region by Heistrom right now. Have some pretty hefty thunderstorms out of it. Even had some dime-sized hail out of these areas here. They continue to move in towards the Dakotas tonight. As we pull back, you can see that big upper-level trough we had yesterday has split in two. One still offshore, another one making its way into the northern Rockies, continues to take this moisture and just spin it and push it right back up into Canada. At the surface, we had a cold front move through. That's why we were a little cooler today. High pressure moves in behind. That kind of kicks out all that rainfall tomorrow. Then that holds back that next system by the time Wednesday afternoon gets there. Then as the high drops, that next cold front will kind of push on through on Thursday. By Thursday night into probably 6 o'clock or a little later, that whole system starts producing rain into the Billings area. How much rain are we talking about? Well, it looks like Billings could pick up maybe a quarter inch or so. Places like Glendive could pick up a third of an inch, half an inch over at Butte, maybe 2/3 over in Dillon. So those will be your big winners. But temperatures tonight, they're going to cool down to the 30s and 40s out in the west. Partly cloudy skies. A few lingering showers here in the east. 40s and 50s for overnight lows. Billings will be about 47. Then for tomorrow, back to the 70s. Maybe 80 at Hardin. 69 at Red Lodge. 63 at West Yellowstone. In the far west, back up into the 50s and 60s there. But for Billings tonight, 47 degrees. Look for patchy fog moving in tonight. And then temps tomorrow back to the 70s on Wednesday and Thursday. And then into the 60s on Friday and Saturday. And then back to the 70s Sunday through Tuesday. Let's go back to the desk.
All right, thanks.